Hey, this is Claude. Happy Saturday morning. So, I'm just sitting around kind of doodling with a few things here. For one, I was actually working on something I said in the video I did the other day pertaining to classes. And let me bring up this here Python journey document that I have. So, in that video, I spoke about classes and a few other things. But what I did speak on, but I didn't show, was I was talking about child classes and yeah. So if you remember, I did this one video, my classes and functions video, where I was actually doing functions with marbles and stars inside of cups, and I actually had that their main program that was calling on this file that actually had the classes defined. And what I was, just to expand on, I spoke about child classes being a part of a parent class. But what I didn't do is I didn't actually test the theory. So if you notice, you got class lavender and class purple, and these are basically parent classes. They're not childs, or there's just one class. So what I did was, and follow me when I do this. So what I did was, you'll see lavender and you'll see purple again. The difference is from the previous one. Let me see if I can move this over. You'll see here where on the Word document where it says class lavender, parentheses, there's nothing in there. But on the actual text editor, you'll see class lavender and you'll see cups. So if you remember in the video where I was showing, let me see, I should have, yeah. So in the video, you remember I showed this here where I was talking about the purple and lavender class, and they were individual classes. And I also mentioned that how the purple and lavender can actually aggregate into a specific class themselves, where the purple cup and the lavender cup are child classes, and the parent cup could be cups themselves. It could be cups itself. So what I did was I created a parent class for, if you look at the Word doc, I created a parent class for lavender and purple. And the name of that class is known as cups. So if you scroll up here, you will see the class cups. Okay, and it has a definition in there known as it's defined, and it has a function in there known as tip over. Now, the reason why I was actually doing this lab, because we know that when I created the objects in the demo the last time, like for example, red marble was an object of lavender, uh, green marble was an object of lavender, and let's say orange star was a object of the purple cup. Now here what I want to do is, you'll see here where I actually define an object, but I don't define it to purple or lavender class. I define it to the cups class, and I actually combined it as far as the name and called it star marble. So the whole reason behind this was because I just wanted to see how a child object actually by default kind of inherits the parent functions as well. So what I mean by that is the purple class comes with its own functions like I described in the last video: shoot, burn, and twinkle. And with those functions come with instructions or code that it has to carry out. Well, when I have an object that's defined under that, it also inherits the functions that are in the parent class as well. So let me demonstrate. So let's just say I go red marble and give it a function of, let me see what functions does the red marble falls under the lavender cup. So let's just say I give it the function roll, okay? And it's going to give us the output of it's running away from us as if it's rolling. So we're going to go roll, parenthesis, we're going to close that, and then let's execute this. And you'll see it says it's on this run. It's on the run away from us, so it's actually rolling at this point. Now, because red marble has been defined here to the lavender cup, okay, and the lavender cup is actually a child class to the actual parent class cups itself, which is up here, I can actually run the functions within the parent cups and get the same result, but whatever instructions are supposed to be carried out there. So what I mean by that, so we know that the parent cups has a function inside of there known as tip over. So if I do this, if I change that function to tip over and then reapply that, okay, so here what I did was I didn't apply an attribute. No, I know what I did. I misspelled that. That's what happened. I misspelled that. So let me do this. Back that up there. OV. Reapply. There we go. So that function tip over, okay, is actually, like I said, that's a function of the parent. So the child object, okay, the child class, let me put it that way, the child class inherits the parent class functions as well. So I can do red marble tip over, and I can also do red marble same object, okay, and I can have it do one of its functions that's assigned in its class, and I can go, let's say we go bounce, okay, we can go bounce. So let me come back down here, type in bounce, and we get red marble doing two different things. It's doing something that it inherited from the parent class, which is the tip over, and that marble is spilling out, and it's actually doing the bounce function, which is a part of its own class. So like I said, just wanted to touch bases on that. And you know, here I put it all on one page, as opposed to when I was doing this here program where I had Python calling on a different file to define these classes. So that's one thing I was doing there. And then there's the other thing I was doing this morning, where since I'm getting into the whole thing of calling on other files, the notion, let me go back to the BGP program that I did a while back. So, you know, when I had this here BGP Python program connected to my devices, I actually defined which device in the program that it was going to connect to. So I had these here two layer 3 switches defined as dictionaries. So what I did was, I knew that I was going to get to that point where I'm going to be calling on other files to pull information. And to bring it into a nutshell, that's what I created here. I was actually creating a separate Python file, which is nothing more than a bunch of dictionaries for NetMiko to call upon when it wants to connect to various devices that are physical devices that I have here in my lab. So I'm still listing stuff out. So here you can see this is a dictionary for my layer 2 switches, my 2950s. And those are the host names of those. And here's my layer 3 switches, and the information I'll need to connect with those. Here are my routers here, and that'll have the information needed to connect to those. And I got ASAs, and like I said, it just goes on and goes on. But like I said, this here will be a file that programs that I create, scripts that I create to do any configuring will basically, instead of actually defining those devices within the program itself, I will literally be able to cut this portion of the program out. Okay, which would that's let me see, that's line 10 down to 24, roughly 14 lines of code. I can cut out roughly 14 lines of code and actually maybe use one or two lines to refer back to this document and pull the information needed to connect to that device. So, like I said, just before I actually implement this, I'm just creating the groundwork of these smaller Python files, modules or libraries, if you want to call them, to actually do that work. So, yeah, that's what Saturday morning is looking like for me. Until next time, take care.